racking my brain, trying to remember what I have and have not read already here. It's like if you don't write these things down, it just piles up on you, and I don't want to repeat myself too soon.
We'll tell you to stop.
I appreciate that. Tell me to stop right now if you want, actually. It's not long enough.
Do you want me to adjust that for you?
No, you'll be a liar. And also, this is going to be a bit of an adventure because probably for no other reason than the fact that I'm reading with our errant feature, Danielle Willis, tomorrow night. My throat started hurting yesterday, so it's going to be interesting if I can get through this without, like splattering blood over Julia. So it's going to be a roller coaster ride for all of us, I'm sure.
If you're going to start splattering blood, just turn that way. Oh, okay.
The people can use it, of course.
Yeah, just open up the book.
Because I haven't donated enough to you guys as it is.
Yeah, that's right. Charlie, open up the book. Just turn the performance art.
Anyway, this is called 1998, When a Stranger Calls. Burnout would come by to sell me some grass, and we were hanging out, smoking. As usual, Burnout's capacity for this stuff astounded me. For as much as I've seen him smoke at one time, I've never gotten the sense that it affected his behavior or abilities in the slightest. Probably because he's a drug veteran. When you have a history of IV usage and sport a methadone patch on your arm, pot has about as much effect on you as a Zima would on Charles Bukowski. Because he was a big drunk and Zima's a really... Anyway, never mind, sorry, it's a highbrow. Anyway. I, on the other hand, was thoroughly baked. What the hell, I figured. I was home and I had no other plans for the evening. Besides, it doesn't take much. I still consider myself to be kind of big now, but I was 100 pounds bigger then, but my tolerance for the stuff is low. The phone rang. It was early evening, and I thought it might be my girlfriend calling to say she was running late. Nothing the machine couldn't handle, and certainly she'd understand if I didn't answer, but evidently my judgment was impaired. I answered the phone. Now, who do you not want on the other end of the phone at a time like this? That's right, the police. Well, it wasn't exactly the police. It was some program they were running called PAL, P-A-L, having to do with kids. More than that, having to do with keeping kids off drugs. And of course, they were calling because they wanted money. You want to help keep kids off drugs, don't you? So, I'm stoned, with my dealer in my home, and the cops call asking me for money. It was a setup. It had to be. Burnout was an well, mostly ex-hippie, with a criminal record including possession, so surely it had been tracking him for years, waiting for the right moment to pounce. And that moment was now. It made perfect sense. It would be a great trophy bust, and my involvement would prove that they don't just target minorities. Look, a 25-year-old Caucasian with a college education. We don't discriminate. Truly, it would be another glorious victory in the war on drugs. I've seldom been more freaked out than I was at that moment, made worse by the fact that panicking was not an option. I had to play it cool, even though I have a hard time ordering a pizza when I'm stoned, let alone alerting the cop on the phone that I'm aware that a SWAT, or not alerting the cop on the phone that I'm aware of a SWAT team ready to break down the door at any moment. I politely said I wasn't interested, and he countered with a well-scripted response about why I should be interested, why I couldn't possibly take another breath in good conscience, hi Danielle, without doing everything possible. She's been in town for like 2 days, and only now she's kissed my feet, you know? You're learning, your time is improving on that. And he countered with a well-scripted response about why I should be interested, why I couldn't possibly take another breath in good conscience without doing everything possible to help keep kids off drugs. I was afraid to hang up, because then they'd know I was onto them. Besides, it was the cops. Okay, yeah, it was their telemarketing arm, but still, you don't hang up on these people. This is a mom. When he got to the, how much do you think you can afford to donate today part, I said that I really couldn't afford anything at all since I was unemployed and my girlfriend was in charge of the finances. True and reasonable enough, right? Nope. Borrowing from the classic Christian tradition, poverty shouldn't stand in the way of tithing. He kept lowering the amount. $30? No? How about $20? Can you afford $20? $15? Can you afford $15 to help keep kids off drugs? Turns out $10 is what I could afford to help keep kids off drugs. I had to acquiesce eventually, since I couldn't hang up and he wasn't going to take no for an answer. The next part was even scarier, giving him my name and address. I was convinced it was just a formality. and that he already knew who I was and where I lived, but I had to play along. I did try to get clever and give a zip code from out of town in hopes that the bill would get lost in the mail. Saw right through it, and I said I'd accidentally given him my old work zip code. But I knew I blew it, and I braced myself for the ninja-suited cops which were about to crash through the windows. No busts happened that day, at least not in my home, but I did learn my lesson about answering the phone.
Thank you, Sherilyn.